Today I'm going to be trying out some products by Essence. I recently noticed that Essence had released some products I had never seen before from their line, so I thought it would be fun just to kind of go all out and try a bunch of things I had never tried before from the line. And I did try to focus on things I haven't heard a lot of people talk about yet, so hopefully some of these are brand new to you guys. Literally all of them are brand new to me, so let's go ahead and just get started. So the first thing I'm going to be testing out is this Corrector, and it's a little crayon like this, and this is their Essence Say No to Dark Circles Corrector in the shade 30 Bright Rose. I figured the peachy one would be a good one to try out since I have pretty dark circles. And what's nice about it being a crayon is that it is super easy to apply. So far the coverage is looking kind of light to medium. It's not super full coverage, but I'm just gonna blend it out with a beauty blender. It seems to blend out pretty nicely. I can see that it did diminish some of the dark blue tones on my under eye area. Again, I do feel like this is a little bit lighter coverage, so kind of depends on what you like, but so far I feel okay about it. The next thing I'm going to be moving on to is their eyeshadow base, and this is the Essence I Love Stage eyeshadow base, and it comes in a little tube like this. Just going to apply it directly onto my lids. And I love that this is like a yellow toned nude shade. And I'm going to blend that out with my Morphe G14 brush. This is my favorite for blending out any type of paint pot or eye primer. I love it because it blends it out really nicely, but doesn't take away a lot of the color. I like that it is a really nice consistency. It's not super watery like the NARS eye primer, which I do like, but sometimes I feel like it's a little too watery, or like Too Faced Shadow Insurance primer. I feel like it's too liquidy for my eyes, but it's also not super thick where it's like catching on my dry patches or anything. It's really, really easy to blend out, which I do appreciate. I do wish that it stayed more true to the original pigmentation when I first applied it onto the eye. Like, I wish it stayed that kind of stark nude color, only to help create more of a canvas for my eyeshadows, but it was really easy to blend out, so we'll see how the eyeshadows lay on top of it. I'm just gonna quickly set the eyeshadow base. I couldn't find a concealer by Essence, so I'm just gonna quickly go in with my Maybelline Master Conceal in the shade Light Medium. I feel like because the Corrector is lighter in coverage, I can still see the darkness peeking through on my under eyes, so that's kind of a bummer. So next I'm going to be moving on to the eyes, and I have two eye products that I'm going to be trying out. I have this little shadow stick here, as well as this eyeshadow palette, which I've already kind of swatched here and there. But the first thing is the Essence 2-in-1 eyeshadow and liner waterproof formula in the shade Peach Perfect. And it looks like this. It's a really pretty shadow pencil, and I did swatch this inside of Ulta and it looked gorgeous. Looks like that. So pretty. It kind of looks like a lighter rose gold color. I am usually pretty hesitant when it comes to eyeshadow pencils or crayons or anything like that, because I've never met one that didn't crease like crazy on my eyes. Like, I love the NYX eyeshadow pencils, but they crease so bad that I can really rarely ever use them. So there's one little layer of it on my eye. Obviously it didn't really stay true to the color. If I were to pack it on, maybe I feel like it would stay true, but then I feel like it would crease like crazy. So I'm just gonna try one little extra layer. Like, it looks so pretty when it's straight on the eye. This time I'm just gonna try just using my finger. What I love about this color is that it's a rose gold, but it's like a lighter, peachier rose gold. I love rose gold eyeshadows in theory, but I feel like when I get them on my eyes, they just don't really go well with my skin tone for some reason. They end up looking really bronzy and just not looking like a true rose gold on me for some reason. So I do like that this is a little bit lighter, a little bit more peachy, rather than a dark true rose gold, which just kind of leans more bronze on my eyes. So it is just a sheer wash of a peachy rose gold color. Moving on, I am now going to try out this eyeshadow palette, and they did have several of these types of nude palettes inside of Ulta, but I did choose this one. This is 02 Nudes. And I like this one specifically because of the shade at the end here. It just looks like a really glittery kind of pewter shade. And one thing I can see immediately, and this was true for all of the palettes that I saw in this little nudes line, is that they all have a somewhat shimmery finish. So there's really not a whole lot of mattes going on. It's not like a true glittery shimmer, except for like this one obviously, but they all have like a kind of like an eggshell finish, like a little bit of a satiny, shiny finish. So that's one thing to note with this. And even though there's not any mattes in this, I want to try to stay true to the palette as much as possible. So I'm just going to be going in to this guy for my transition color. And this looks like kind of like a light camel shade. Okay, so far we know it's very, very powdery. I cannot believe that it's going to be Thanksgiving next week already. That is totally insane. And my boyfriend and I are actually going to be away from our families for Thanksgiving. Obviously, we're down here in Texas, so his family is back in Ohio and my family is back in California. But normally that's the way it has been for every Thanksgiving for us. We're usually together. So in a way it's sad because we miss our families, but in another way it's kind of nice because it's sort of like our little tradition just between us two to celebrate Thanksgiving together, and we always cook, and even though we're away from our families, it's kind of nice that it's ours, you know? So for my lid, I'm next going to be going in with this shade here. And this is like a slightly shimmery ivory shade with a little hint of like a super light pearly pink in it. The pigmentation is nice with these, that's for sure. I don't feel like I have to build it up too much. I think the next color I want to go in with, just for the sake of trying it out, is this Shimmery Pewter color. I'm just going to place this on the outer half of my lid. Well, obviously this color isn't what it looks like in the pan. When I do swatch it out, that's what it looks like. So it actually is very pretty. It's more of a plum with a silver metallic running through it, very, very lightly. It's not a super intense shadow. It's almost just like a plum shimmer shade. I can't say that I'm all that disappointed with it, only because I'm not really expecting this to perform the same way like a high-end eyeshadow would. Like, I'm not expecting an Urban Decay quality out of this palette. So even though it's not quite as glittery as what it looks like in the pan, I'm still not that mad at the color. So I think next I'm going to be moving on to this shade here, which is more of a medium brown. So just to give you a quick swatch of that brown, like you can see, these are obviously pretty nicely pigmented. I don't want to spend too much time on my eyes. I feel like that'll just get really boring. So hopefully you can at least get an idea of what they're looking like on the eye. And then last thing I think I'm gonna, well, close to last thing I think I'm gonna do is take this super dark brown shade. Looks like that. So this is like a super dark chocolate brown color. A little bit on my outer V. The last thing I'm going to do is just set my brow bone, and I'm going to be using this white shade up here at the top. So there's what it looks like there. This is more of like a true ivory color. Again, does have a little bit of a satin finish to it, so it's not totally matte. Yeah, this definitely is a little bit more shimmery than what I would like for my brow bone. But I actually used to, back in the day, always set my brow bone with shimmer. Felt like that was so 90s if you guys used to do that as well. And specifically, I used to set it with Max Shroom, which if you know that shadow, you know how insanely intense it is. I literally would set my brow bone with that. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. So I'm just gonna stop here for right now with the eyes. I could keep going, but I just wanna stop for now. And so far, I have to say, I kind of like this palette. I'm not crazy about the fact that they're all the exact same finish. I wish that there was more of a variety in there, but I love that the colors do show up. I wanted to try out their Essence Eyeliner Pen. This is their extra long-lasting eyeliner. And this is a felt tip pen. They have a lot of different eyeliners and literally 87 different mascaras. If you guys have ever checked out the Essence like little end cap booth inside of Ulta, there's legitimately like 87 mascaras just hanging out there. It's weird that they don't have like a slot for foundation, but they have all this room for mascaras. I don't understand it. Anyways, this is the eyeliner pen that I'm going to be trying out. So it's a nice felt tip. Yikes. It's not the eyeliner's fault. It is almost drying out already as I'm applying it, or you can see that it's not totally even, like there's a little gap in the wing there. So I'm gonna give it a second to dry on that side and then I'll go back in. I'm trying to make the wings even, but I feel like this thing is drying out so much that it's not really depositing enough color, so not crazy about the eyeliner pen. Again, I like the felt tip of it. It's super precise and easy to apply, but it's just not applying enough product at once to make like a dark wing. So not crazy about that. Next thing I'm going to be moving on to is a mascara, and this is one of their 87 mascaras that they carry. It's the I Love Extreme Volume Mascara Waterproof Formula. And here is what the wand looks like. It is huge. So it is a very, very thick mascara, super thick. I actually think I would want to use like a little spoolie to kind of separate them out a little bit more, but I don't have one in front of me, so this is just what they're gonna look like. I actually really like the mascara. It's probably not one of like my all-time favorites, just because I like something that gives my lashes a little bit more of a fluffy look. I do feel like this kind of clumps my lashes together a little bit, but it definitely made a pretty nice impact on my lashes, I'd say. I feel like it did give them like a good amount of volume. And I'm just going to be setting my eyebrows with the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara, and this is in the shade 02 Brownie Brows. So hopefully this is just going to help even them out as well as set my brows and kind of keep them in place. Okay, so this I'm actually pretty happy with as well. What I like is that I can definitely see the color clinging onto my eyebrow hair, so it is evening out my brows a little bit. It's not depositing too much color at once, but I can see the color showing up, which is actually one of the biggest reasons why I didn't like Maybelline's Brow Drama. I know some people like live for that eyebrow mascara, but I did not like that because it would not deposit any color. It just felt like I was running a wet spoolie through my brows. What's nice about this is that the bristles are super short, so you can actually see the color like depositing on the brow. The blush that I picked up from Essence is this one, and this is actually the guy that kind of inspired this entire video because I saw it was new inside of Target. And this is the shade number 10 Heat Wave. And here's what it looks like inside. Look how gorgeous this is. It is so pretty. It's kind of like an ombre sunset looking blush. They also had like a pink and purple one as well, but I'm not much of a purple blush type of person, so I just went with more of like the summery kind of sunset looking one. Brush, and I'm gonna try to swirl it in all of the colors. I was a little bit worried about the finish of this because like the eyeshadows, this does have a little bit of a shine to the finish. It's not shimmery or like metallic, but it did look like it had a little bit of a sheen, and if you have oily skin, you know that you tend to stay away from blushes with a huge sheen because they just accentuate your pores and oiliness, but this actually does not do that. It has a very like, I want to say natural satin type of finish to it. What's nice about this is that it does lean more of like a peachy kind of strawberry pink color. I really, really, really love this. I feel like it's a beautiful color, first of all. It looks pretty and natural and just kind of sun-kissed, so that is awesome. But the next thing I'm going to be using is a highlighter, and this was another thing I was super excited to try out. This is the second to last thing that I'm going to be trying out, by the way, and this is their Essence So Glow Cream to Powder Highlighter in the shade number 10 Look on the Bright Side. Now, I do already have powder on my face, but oh well. Just going to apply it to my cheekbones, and it's much more intense than I thought, actually. This is actually gorgeous. Oh my God, this, okay. Declaring a new favorite drugstore highlighter. It does have kind of like a dewy finish to it, but it's not oily or greasy looking whatsoever. It just looks like this really beautiful kind of luminous glow. So that is really, really impressive. And then the very last thing that I'm gonna be trying out is one of their liquid lipsticks. And this is in the shade 03 Almost Real. I'm gonna line my lips with NYX's lip liner pencil in the shade 860 Peekaboo Neutral. I'm now gonna go in with the liquid lipstick. Wow. Super pigmented. So this definitely is more of a wet, glossy formula, but I will say I love the color of this. It's definitely more of a peach nude, so it's not super pink. Like, there's so many nudes that I love, but when I get them on my lips they look like a baby milky pink, which I'm just not down for. I love that this is more of a peachy pink color. The pigmentation is amazing. I don't think that I would ever wear it alone like this as a liquid lipstick because I just feel like it's a little too messy. It feels really nice on the lips. I just think it would probably be better as a gloss. I definitely feel like the things that I loved the most was these two for sure, and coincidentally these are the more newer products that I've seen from Essence inside of Target. And then other things that I did like was the eyeshadow base. I think it did a good job. Again, I do wish it was more pigmented, but for a liquid base, I feel like this did a pretty good job. It worked just as well as my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer, which this did remind me of slightly, and I feel like it did just as good of a job, so I'm happy with that. I liked the mascara as well. Also love the gloss. I think it's a really pretty peachy color, not so much as a liquid lipstick as it's marketed, but more so as a gloss like I mentioned. And then I also really liked the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara. I felt like it added a nice little bit of coverage to my brows. It kind of evened everything out. As for keeping my brows in place, I don't know how well it's gonna work. So far I can see my brows moving around a little bit already, but to be honest, almost no eyebrow gel works for me, so I'm not really gonna knock it for that. I feel like this is definitely better if you just want to add a little bit of color to your brows. I think the things that were a little bit more of a flop to me was the eyeshadow stick. I did have really high expectations of this because it looked so intense and beautiful. And I do feel like it worked okay as an eyeshadow base. I just don't think it's like a game changer in my makeup routine by any means. So I'll continue to play with it and update you guys if I do find a way to get it to work and make it look nice on the eyes. Also, the corrector. I think this again is great if you like something more lightweight. For me, it didn't work. I could still see my blueness and like dark under eyes kind of peeking through after using this, and even with the second application of it. As for the eyeshadow palette, I kind of feel in the middle about it. I feel like if you already have a good number of neutral shadows, I wouldn't say you need to run out and get it, but just judging it on the palette alone, I think that it was pretty good. The pigmentation was nice. It was easy to build up the colors. It was a little bit powdery, and of course this shade wasn't as intense as I would have liked it to be. But other than that, I do feel like all the colors are pretty true to what they look like in the pan, and they were really easy to build on the eye as well. And then I feel like the biggest flop out of everything was definitely the eyeliner. It just dried out really fast. It was kind of splotchy when I applied it, so yeah, don't recommend this guy. I hope that at least some of these products were new to you guys or things that you hadn't seen before. If you do like these types of videos, please be sure to give it a thumbs up so that I know. And if you're new to my channel, definitely don't forget to subscribe before heading out. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.